Welcome everyone back to another Boldcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is Hell's Paradise, episode 7. We'll see what these people are doing or what they will do this episode. I don't know what the hell was going on. Don't know what they're gonna do. They're completely unpredictable.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. So I just did that on purpose there, but I've noticed every week, whenever there's one of this intro,
you do that?
Like 3 times a week, I do that. And every time I go to edit, I'm like, I didn't even know I did that. What the fuck?
Again. Not humans.
They're like angels or something. So they just take like a feminine form for sex and a masculine form for fighting and eating people?
Seems like foes. Oh.
Yeah, we were theorizing that they used to be people who settled here and then, yeah, got like a hold of the magic fruit and now they're like not quite human anymore.
Yeah.
They become like one with this like heavenly, hellish, otherworldly place. I wonder how they communicated, like, or they might not have, but the gender change, like it's in the manga you can only do it visually, I guess, but because like his voice, their voice changed midway through to like a man voice.
Well, I guess just like getting like super ripped, like visually would have worked too, I guess, if you're.
Yeah, it's just an interesting how they handle the reveal of that, like how to do that, you know. You can't outrun Gabimaru. Groot!
I think she probably does. Don't kill it. Still following the mission.
Why would you do that?
Oh,
She's like a master of poisons and shit.
yeah. It's disgusting.
That's gross. I think it's supposed to be like sexy, like she gets oiled up or something, but it's so gross. What?
He's super strong. Just gonna trust them?
She's magic. A cursed child.
Got really fucked up from that.
Why did he think of just like to compare the force between those two things? She's dead as fuck. keep reminding us of his motivation every episode, and I don't know if it's because they know they're spending too much time on Sagiri's mental breakdowns, or because they're setting up for like a big reveal that the wife is dead. Oh, because I might forget to do that. Because he needs to constantly tell himself so that he doesn't go insane.
Yeah.
Or like go off the deep end.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, he just knew where all those roots were. How did he anticipate that?
I'm just looking for the elixir of life. But she'll run away.
We caught her. She's not an ordinary child. I guess they mean like she's not an adult pretending to be a child.
She's acting.
Did she shrink? She was like slightly more than half of Gabimaru's height, and now she's like the size of a toddler.
Gabimaru is really short. Village.
It's Alphonse. Just live in the destroyed village. There must have been some big event where like everybody became immortal or she became immortal.
1,000 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he must have got like soul trapped in the wood.
Yeah.
Or yeah, in a tree and then like took control of it.
Oh, really? I'm just chilling. I just live here for 1,000 years.
Wait, I said it was episode 7?
Yeah.
It makes sense for having the bath episode this episode. It's honestly too bad. Like, I'm not one for like ecchi stuff, but it's honestly too bad that they can't do like actual nudity in this show, because they do it in other shows, obviously. But with the amount of nudity that they do show, it's just kind of weird that like is in the story. It's weird that they don't draw nipples for no reason.
She's so helpful.
Thirsty as fuck. Peaches?
Peaches.
No way.
I don't think that the peaches are what they're looking for anyway.
Okay, stop there's always an interruption. Groot, tell us about the fucking elixir of life.
Tell me the stuff, sir.
Kotaku. Yikes.
海岸や森は英州。この村は北条と呼ばれる領域にある。丹は蓬莱、奥にある。これはいきなり有力情報ですよ。森探すの意味なかったじゃん。っていうかみかんでもないし。戦略があれば妻の元に帰れる。実物を見たことがあるのか。いや。そもそもその話がデタラメでないという証拠。彼らを知れば疑う余地もなくなる。 天仙様に会えば
The Tensen. Tensen-sama.
I'm just gonna regrow.
知らず老いず
Ugh.
永遠に美しい完璧な存在
It's weird because it's like very similar to the
The old man.
yeah, and also similar to the people who got turned into flowers, but it's like staying inside instead of
They've like
coming out.
they've kind of conquered it in a way.
Yeah.
お前たちを迎え入れもの憐れみだそれが最後の望みとなるだろうから上陸した人間はいずれ
No way.
死ぬ
Already?
No way.
だが誰も返さない
皆死ぬとはどういう意味だ。
お前たちには好意も敵意もない事実を言っただけ島の侵入者は皆天仙様に殺される
その天仙様とは何者なんだ。
この島で最も偉いお方だ送信を
Wow. Are they really dead? Like that?
特に島人間はなだが心配するな罰を受ける人間はただ死ぬ
They all get
They all get consumed.
花に生まれ変わる罪や俗から解放され
Yeah, from their worldliness. No way, I liked these guys. They can't actually be dying. They were too good of characters.
そうして花となった命が単の源となる
So it is like Full Metal Alchemist.
yeah.
僕は実在する私も恩恵の一部を受けている
Interesting, because the Full Metal Alchemist, like elixir of life or Philosopher's Stone,
Oh, don't talk too much about it because some
そ
people
の
haven't
娘
seen.
が同じなのか。
it's like, but I was just gonna say it's more of a Western view of that idea, whereas the elixir of life here is like a very Eastern philosophy view. So but it's interesting how the similarities and differences. I don't know.
Yeah.
聖教神の意志島を出るのも容易ではないだろう
I mean, you got to kill them, obviously.
Yeah, but if they're immortal.
Well, what if I'm immortal?
風呂にまで
What if Gabimaru is immortal?
まあ傷口洗うだけだし構わないけど、気が緩んでいられるよりはいいし。
緩んでません。
さっきは緩んでた。風呂上がりで一
Sleeping.
瞬眠そうにしてた。
してません。しつこい。
島は三層構造である。戦薬は中心の層、蓬莱にある。戦薬は天仙様が情報は増えたが、どれも断片的だ。
Yeah.
彼らの話は信用できるでしょうか。
They haven't given you a reason not to. May.
この子はメイだ島で生まれ島で育った数百年もの間この先も静かばはするな
嘘とは思いませんが、話のすべてを鵜呑みにもできません。
They have to know more than that, right?
Yeah.
天仙様ってやつか。
If they've been here for centuries, they have to know more than
大
that.
陸の新鮮思想で確かより上位の仙人を指す言葉です。送信や蓬莱というのも由来の言葉だと思います。まあ、謎解きは
I love the
重要なのは
the
戦略
religious shit in the show, not just, you know.
ことには極力
Oh, great.
極力関わりたくない。何言って傷口を洗うって言ったろ。
この子が入ってるじゃないですか。
里じゃ老若男女区別なく一つの風呂だったぞ。家風呂のある里の長以外は
Suspicious.
風呂の作法など気にしてる場合か。
She has a scar.
よく見れば
That's interesting.
髪も肌もボロボロ。
Her hair and skin are in rough shape.
揃っているのに使われていない。親のように使い方を教える者がいないのかしら。
She's just been going in the water.
既存の備品、江戸の湯屋を再現し両者が入浴に専念できるよう、ここは私が取り仕切らせていただきます。
At first, I thought she said she was gonna charge her.
Oh.
I read it wrong. And I was like, what?
この子たちには一宿一般の恩があ
Oh no.
休める時は休むべきかと。
Is it gonna be all wash your back type
そ
thing?
れを使いなさい。
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that would be so fucking
病
dumb.
院は産業親に手伝いなんです。これは肺と椿の油かす。少量ですが、本土より実した。これで洗髪します。綺麗になって傷を消すことは私にはできませんが。
So luxurious.
気分転換にはなったでしょ。
This is such a nice
So
relationship.
wholesome.
考えるべきことは山ほどあるというのに、大体その娘だって。
あなた
Remember to be human. I'm your wife.
こそこうして休息はしっかり取らないと。
そういうもんかな。
そういうふうなんですから、お背中流すのにいちいち照れてどうするのですか。
そういうもんかな。
そういうもんです。
照れてるわけじゃ苦手なんだ。風呂。緊張や戦の勘がゆに溶けていくよ。
私はボブーンを注いでいると。
そういう意味ではない。
Real warriors never bathe.
休めるときはしっかり休まない戦いの前に倒れてしまいます。
本当の戦い？何か控えていたか？大仕事が。
いいえ、人生という名の
She's
戦
so
いです。
wise.
That is very wise.
平穏に寄り添いながら、時に差を差し、時に隠し、それでも決して手綱は離さない。手目じゃない。長い長い人生という名の戦です。大将はあなたですが、軍師は私。休めというのも戦略的助言。
分かった。
では、最後は湯船に。
それはやだ。苦手なんだ湯船。もう
Why doesn't he like the water?
猫みたい。明日からは2人ぐらい風呂は使いませんよ。
いい。
That's sad.
わしも戦略的下地をいいか。
あら、なんなりと。
髪でかもしれんがわしは気にせん。君はそんなことする必要ない。
いえ、これは単にお気に入りの髪型でございます。
え、そうなの？
ですが、てならば、そうします。ありがとう。
That's cute.
Mm-hmm.
傷を恥じているならそんなもの気にするな。
女性はそうもいかない時があります。
そんなことない。わしは大きな傷を持つ女性を知っているが、その人は誰よりも美しい。外見など全く大したことじゃない。なんだその顔。
いいえ、あまりにまっとうなの。
He's just like,
本来の彼は悪人ではないのかもしれない。そう考えているけど、彼も変わり始めているのでは。
I said something really embarrassing.
冷静に思い出した。当初の気持ちを何を優先すべきか。油を売っている暇などないと改めて思い出した。
That's a weird way to end the episode.
they're good at that.
Yeah. What'd you think of that? I actually, I want to say that was my, other than episode 1, that was my favorite episode, I think.
Really?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. What do you think?
I guess
of it?
I would agree. But yeah, other than episode 1. Yeah, it was good. It was just kind of chill.
Yeah.
There's some cool stuff kind of happening. Like some cool concepts and like, you know, that they're getting told stuff and they're sort of relating it to things that they already know, and it's kind of a mystery in that way. And I think maybe if you knew more about the things that they're talking about, then you could make some really cool theories about that.
But we're obviously not experts in Taoism or Buddhism
anything
or
like that. So
stuff
it's
like that.
So we can't. But it's cool that clearly, you know, when they were writing it, that was like a thought of
Yes.
like, I'm gonna include this and have it like possibly mean these other things or like relate to them in some either like similar way or opposing way that can, like, if the characters can figure it out, then they can, you know, do better at whatever, at their goal, you know?
Yeah. This is
like telling them the truth, but in kind of a little bit of a, you know, not speaking in riddles, but, you know, giving kind of a vague idea of what's going on.
Yeah, and I really like I really like in stories when, like, when in fantasy type things, when they play with religion, there's like a number of ways you can do it. It's like you can use it as like the symbols in your story, like you see that in Naruto where they use, like, you know, Amaterasu and Susanoo and shit like that, and you know, they reference religion, but it's not like literal. It's just like these kind of concepts or these things that like have a gravitas to them. You use that gravitas to like impact the thing in the story. So like if you name something Amaterasu, it's obviously going to be super powerful because it's like the sun god, it's like the apex god, whereas if you name something like a lower god, you know, it's like less powerful. There's a lot of, you know, implicit meaning that we naturally have when you when dealing with religion, even if it's stuff that we don't exactly know, but when it's like baked into your culture like that and you live your whole life learning about all these things and then it's used in the story, it can add a lot to it without, it's kind of like a shorthand basically. And a lot of stories either use it like Naruto where it's like a reference, or a lot of times it's like a symbol where they'll be like they're sort of in the background when people are writing a story, they're like influenced by, you know, the Bible or whatever, in text or religion in a way that they don't fully realize, and it comes forth in ways that like are more sort of archetypal and just sort of a consequence of them having grown up in their culture than these things like appear in their story. But I really like when stories do this, they go like an extra step and think like, you know, use the symbology, use these things from other religions and from maybe a culture that you're familiar with, but make it a little bit literal. Make it like, you know, what happens when these things are more than legends? Like, what would it be like if we lived in these worlds? You know, like what would we do if we lived in a world where, you know, all of these ideas were true? They were just like buried ancient,
and they were different
for a long time
than you thought, or like
and yeah, that too, like of, you know, because it puts you with the characters, because you know, if we've grown up learning, you know, even if you're not big into religion or your family isn't big into religion, you know about like whatever religion, whether it's Shintoism or Taoism or Christianity or Buddhism or whatever it is. It's like you grow up with all of this knowledge and it's like these legends that you've been told and that you grew up with, even just in passing. And then, you know, in a story, it's like when the characters grow up with that same information, but in that world, it's like, oh no, it was like this ancient thing and it's been twisted by time in this like game of telephone over thousands of years.
Or like in something like whatever, Percy Jackson, where it's like, oh, you learn about the Greek gods in school, but then suddenly they're all real and you're their kid or whatever.
Yeah, so I like stuff like that. And what I really like about this is that they are, it's like in a lot of times when stories do stuff like this, like, oh, we're actually living in this world, it can kind of be like, you know, where you watch a zombie movie and they don't call them zombies, or they don't, like, they try to remove the idea that there is zombie fiction. Like for somehow there's in the one alternate universe where zombie apocalypse happens, there are no stories about zombies and nobody references, ever thought of it. Nobody's seen, you know, whatever, The Walking Dead or whatever it is. And it just feels weird that, like, you know, nobody has thought about this, because, like, you know, people think all the time about, like, well, what would you do in a zombie apocalypse? And I like that. So a lot of times fantasy can kind of feel like that, where it's like, oh, you know, we're normal people in this fantasy world, but we don't, you know anything about, you know, the circumstances. But the fact that they're taking this approach of these people are in like an alternate version of real life that's like a little bit more extra. Mm-hmm. And they have all the same stories that like people in this time would have grown up with, and it just turns out to be real, but they know the story, so it's like they're thinking about it. It's like, I don't know, it's just cool. It's just interesting the way that they handle that. The fact that they're explicitly addressing like, oh, in this religion that not only exists in the story but also in our real world, you know, they're working off the same information that you could have if you grew up in, you know, an area with Taoist influence. It's just cool. I like that. I like that a lot. And yeah, this was the bathhouse episode. I really, again, like I said during the episode, I've gone on record saying that I don't watch anime for the cute girls and the titties and stuff like that. But, you know, I do think that the show would be better if it could have nudity, because it seems like the manga must have like a lot of nudity, or
It seems like they're just trying to put so much of it in there.
they're trying to, yeah, but they just can't, because they just aren't. Like there were like 5, you know, naked breasts, or 5 pairs of breasts on the screen this episode, and not one of them had a single nipple. Like, and it just kind of takes you out of it more than, you know. It's just weird, because they still show the naked characters, but they don't actually they can't actually be naked, and then it feels weird. So it just kind of sucks that they can't do that.
Doesn't bother me.
It's just silly. It's like they did it in Berserk too, in Berserk 2016, where, like, you know, there's naked girls but they don't have nipples, and it's just kind of off. It's not a huge problem, but it's just like, it's just kind of a shame that they couldn't do it if it's like a part of the story. Like, if you
They don't draw them on the guys either.
Yeah, but, you know, anime guy nipples are different than anime girl nipples. Everybody knows this. Anyway, that's not a huge deal. It's just something that I noticed. Leave a like and subscribe. See you next week.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.